I'm posting from a throwaway because my family knows my main account, and trust me, I don't need them finding this. I'll call myself Emily, 38 female. I grew up in what you could politely call a lopsided family dynamic. You know how some parents pick a favorite child and the other just fades into the background? Yeah, that was my entire childhood. Up until I was 8, things were normal. My parents weren't the most affectionate, but they showed up. Dad would take me fishing sometimes, Mom helped me with homework. Then, everything changed. One night, my aunt showed up in the middle of the night, told me to pack a bag because my mom was in the hospital. My little sister Lily had been born prematurely, 2 months early, and suddenly my entire world shifted. Lily came home tiny and fragile, surrounded by machines and endless doctor visits. My mom became obsessed with germs. I'm talking full-on disinfectant wipes on every doorknob, sanitizer bottles in every room, bleach smell that still makes me gag to this day. And me? The healthy kid? I became the risk. If I so much as sneezed, I was shipped off to Grandma's or Aunt Kelly's. At first, I thought it was fun, cookies at Grandma's, mystery novels at my aunt's. But even as a kid, you eventually realize you're not being sent away on adventures. You're being sent away because your family thinks your very presence is a threat. No matter what I did, it was never good enough. Straight A's, barely a nod. Winning first place in the science fair? Dad just asked me to store the cardboard display in the garage because Lily was allergic to dust. Meanwhile, Lily got standing ovations for playing hot cross buns on the flute. By the time she was 7, she was healthy as any other kid, but that didn't stop her from milking it. A tummy ache? Day off school. Tired? Someone else, guess who, had to do her chores. Nervous about a test? Mom called the teacher to get her an extension. I learned early that if I wanted recognition, I wasn't getting it at home. So I poured myself into books, antiques, and jewelry, something my grandmother introduced me to when I was stuck at her house. I'd spend hours cataloging her vintage pieces, and though I didn't know it then, that hobby would end up shaping my entire life. By the time I hit high school, I had learned my place in the family hierarchy, background character. Mom's entire life revolved around Lily's special needs, even though by that point, Lily was completely healthy. Dad followed suit, and I was the built-in babysitter, errand runner, and emotional punching bag. I can't count how many times my plans got canceled because Lily doesn't feel good, and someone needs to stay home with her. Spoiler, that someone was always me. Lily would cry about not wanting to be alone, but the second I agreed to stay, she'd grab the TV remote, sprawl on the couch, and laugh in my face. My parents called it sisterly bonding. I called it manipulation. Whenever I tried to push back, Mom accused me of being selfish. Your sister almost died as a baby. Do you have any idea what that was like for us? Yes, Mom, I did. Because while you were panicking over Lily, you forgot you had another child under the same roof. The only thing that kept me sane was academics. Books didn't judge me. Teachers noticed me. And when I finally got my acceptance letter to a university 3 states away, I swear I could hear angels singing. Of course, my parents acted like I was abandoning them. Mom, Lily needs you here. Dad, it's selfish to run off when your family relies on you. But I left anyway. And for the first time in my life, I could breathe. College was where I reinvented myself. I dove into history, art, and jewelry design. I took part-time jobs cataloging antique collections, learned the trade of buying and reselling pieces, and discovered I had a real eye for spotting hidden value. While Lily was apparently still being treated like a fragile glass doll at home, I was building my own life, one that didn't revolve around being her shadow. Junior year, something clicked. I stumbled into an antique shop and bought a tarnished brooch for $20. A week later, I sold it to a collector for $600. That one deal lit a fire in me. I started studying markets, connections, trends. I built a small but steady side hustle in vintage jewelry trading. For the first time ever, I wasn't just Lily's sister. I was me. I was Emily, the woman who could walk into a flea market and walk out with thousands of dollars worth of value that no one else spotted. And I never told my family. Not a word, because deep down I already knew. If they found out, it wouldn't be, wow, Emily, we're proud of you. It would be, well, you can help your sister with her bills, right? So I stayed quiet. I played the dutiful daughter on visits home, listening to Lily brag about her life while Mom and Dad fawned over her. Meanwhile, I was quietly saving, investing, and building something far bigger than any of them realized. After college, I moved to a bigger city and leaned hard into my jewelry business. What started as flipping pieces on eBay turned into buying from estate sales, auctions, even overseas contacts. Slowly but surely, I built a reputation. By the time I was in my early 30s, I wasn't just making a living, I was thriving. But here's the kicker. My family had no idea. When I'd visit home, I wore simple clothes, never flashed expensive bags or jewelry, and downplayed everything. If they asked how work was, I'd just say, oh, busy. Because I knew the second they smelled money, the leeches would come out. Meanwhile, every phone call with Mom turned into a Lily update. She's so tired. She's thinking of quitting her job. She deserves to rest after everything she's been through. Lily, who by the way was now a fully grown adult with zero health issues, was still treated like the fragile miracle baby. And me? Still the afterthought. Fast forward a few years. Through sheer persistence, good deals, and some very smart investments, I had quietly built a net worth that tipped over into 8 figures. Yeah, you heard that right. Somewhere along the way, the invisible daughter became worth over $12 million, but I never flaunted it. I lived comfortably, yes, but modestly compared to what I could. Because I knew my family's dynamic hadn't changed. If anything, it had gotten worse. To them, Lily was still the center of the universe, and I was still expected to orbit around her. Which brings us to Thanksgiving. This year, Lily decided she wanted to host at her new house. And by host, I mean she ordered catering, decorated with Mom's help, and then sat back while everyone else did the cleanup. Classic. When I showed up, things were already tense. Lily was in the kitchen complaining that the cranberry sauce wasn't the right kind. Mom was fussing over her like she was a princess, while Dad gave me a distracted nod when I walked in. Same script as always. Until dinner was halfway through when the topic of money came up. Lily started moaning about how expensive her mortgage was, how unfair it was that she had to struggle when other people had it easy. Then, with this fake sweet smile, she looked right at me and said, "Emily, you don't really have expenses, right? Maybe you can help me out a little." The whole table turned to stare at me, and I felt this flicker of rage. All those years of being invisible, dismissed, treated like the backup child, all boiling over. So for once, I didn't deflect. I didn't lie. I calmly said, actually, I do have expenses. Running a business isn't cheap. But don't worry, I can afford it. I'm doing fine. Lily narrowed her eyes. How fine? The room went dead silent, and that, friends, was the moment everything exploded. I could feel every eye on me. The silence in the room was so thick you could hear the turkey ticking in the oven. Or maybe that was just my heartbeat. Lily leaned forward, smirking like she'd finally caught me. "Okay, how much money do you actually have?" she demanded. I took a deep breath and let it hang for a moment. Then calmly, I turned my laptop so the family could see. The screen displayed everything. Current account balance, $12.4 million pending authentication contracts. $485,000 recent sale. $1.2 million quarterly business profits. $4.2 million, the reactions were immediate and priceless. Mom's jaw dropped, and she let out this strangled laugh that quickly turned into a high-pitched scream. "You're rich!" You're rich?" Dad nearly choked on his wine. Lily's face contorted through disbelief, anger, and confusion in about 2 seconds flat. You could literally see her calculating how she'd spin this for sympathy. Mom shouted, "You could have helped us all." "Why didn't you tell us?" Lily burst into tears, not the subtle kind, but full-on dramatic sobs, clutching her designer bag like it was a security blanket. "I deserve this money. I've always deserved it. You've been hiding it from me." Dad started pacing, muttering about family obligations, heritage, responsibility. Everyone else, aunts, uncles, cousins, just stared, wide-eyed, unsure whether to intervene or run. I sat there calm as ever, sipping my water like I was watching a live soap opera. Years of being dismissed, ignored, and undervalued suddenly gave me this strange serenity. "No," I said firmly, standing up. "I earned this. Every penny. And yes, I've been supporting the family quietly, every month. But I am not obligated to give you my fortune just because you claim you deserve it." The room went silent again. Then Lily, the self-proclaimed golden child, tried one last desperate maneuver. "You have to give me something." "I need it for school, for my life, for everything," I smiled. A calm, icy smile. You've had everything handed to you your entire life. I've built mine. That's the difference. I walked out that Thanksgiving, leaving them in stunned silence. My laptop tucked under my arm, my sensible luxury BMW waiting outside. The texts, calls, and social media posts started immediately. Lily ranted about hidden wealth. Mom begged for understanding. Dad tried rationalizing years of favoritism. None of it worked. I had finally drawn the line. I stopped the monthly transfers, blocked their calls, and even had to issue a formal legal notice to stop the harassment. Months later, I discovered that Lily tried to copy my business strategy, and it did not go well. Meanwhile, my company flourished. Clients respected my discretion, not my family's opinion. Lily? She's still struggling to start her own career. Mom and Dad? They've had to face the reality that I am my own person, with my own life, my own success, and my own rules. And for the first time in my life, I felt free. Truly free.